Hi, I'm Joel Bloom, president of New Jersey Institute of Technology. At NJIT, we believe that not only our students, but all citizens need to be informed about the issues facing higher education. As New Jersey's Science and Technology University, NJIT is proud to support the important programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by NJM, Auto Insurance, Homeowners Insurance, and more, with a focus on safety and financial stability. NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, PNC Bank. Activists in cooperation with the American Medicine Chess Challenge. Steve and Elaine Pozicki, QualCare Inc., a local managed care company covering 750,000 New Jersey residents. And by the Russell Berry Foundation.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. It is my pleasure to welcome for the first time here in One-on-One Dr. Martin Karpeh, who is chairman of surgery at Hackensack University Medical Center. Good to see you, doctor.
Thanks for having me.
We're not talking about surgery overall, but we are in fact talking about esophageal cancer, one of the fastest growing cancers. And this is a concern for a lot of reasons. One of the biggest, you were telling me right before we got on the air, is, by the way, describe what this is. Esophageal cancer, and why it's such a big problem.
Absolutely. So, esophageal cancer is a malignancy, is a cancer that forms in the muscular tube that connects your mouth to the stomach. And things like smoking, drinking, chronic reflux can cause irritation and inflammation in that organ, which can then, over time, lead to cancer.
You were saying before we got on the air that one of the biggest problems is the fact that by the time it's detected, there are too often, more than you'd like, more than your colleagues would like, it's late in the game. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the symptoms that are associated with esophageal cancer are common.
What are they?
Heartburn, most commonly, difficulty swallowing, which unfortunately is a late symptom. Heartburn is probably the most common early symptom that you would associate with esophageal cancer, which is extremely common, and most people with reflux don't have cancer, which is kind of the conundrum, because we don't want to overtreat patients who have common symptoms, but then at the same time, we don't want to miss these cancers. And by maybe overly investigating, we'll pick up more.
So advice to someone watching right now: chronic heartburn. Don't blow it off.
Don't blow it off. Particularly if you're in your 50s, you've had 2 or 3 months of chronic reflux. You're treating it maybe with over-the-counter medication, and it keeps coming back. It really needs to be investigated.
So now connect the issue of obesity with this problem.
Sure. So we know that obesity is directly correlated with reflux. And chronic reflux, as I mentioned, leads to inflammation, and this can lead to a condition called Barrett's.
What's it called?
Barrett's.
Go ahead.
So Barrett's is a change in the lining of the esophagus, which has a propensity to then lead to cancer. And that condition is only seen with reflux. So by avoiding reflux, avoiding weight gain, it will also help to decrease potentially the incidence of Barrett's.
So someone who is overweight or obese,
yes,
losing weight dramatically or significantly reduces the risk of this problem?
Yes, it can certainly decrease the incidence of reflux, which will help reduce the chances of getting Barrett's.
And the cure, if you will, is there
Yeah,
a cure?
Yeah, there is a cure. The cure is removal, particularly in early stages. Surgery, but there are also methods, non-surgical methods of removing the precancerous lesions. So by investigating symptoms and identifying Barrett's, if there's a component of Barrett's which is known as high-grade dysplasia.
High-grade dysplasia.
High-grade dysplasia is a pathologic term that describes a change leading up to cancer. That can be treated without removing the esophagus by a number of different methods. But we would love to get to esophageal cancer at that stage because it can be cured and oftentimes you can preserve the esophagus.
You were telling me before we got in there about fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
Elaborate.
So diet has been correlated with the frequency or the incidence of esophageal cancer. A diet poor in fruits and vegetables is associated with esophageal cancer.
It is?
Yes.
So someone's just heavy on carbs, not enough fruits and vegetables, could potentially increase the likelihood of having a problem?
Yes. Yes.
In and of itself, the diet matters.
Well, it's correlated. And it's correlated. There's a connection. I can't say that there's a direct cause and effect, but it's certainly associated. And that association is certainly tightly linked to, as I said, reflux.
Men or women? More likely?
Men are more commonly affected than women.
Do we know why?
We really don't.
Age, you said?
Age,
50,
common
60?
age is early 60s. But patients over the age of 50 who are having chronic reflux should have it investigated.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And not getting enough attention.
Not getting enough attention.
Why is it? Is it because it's not a common cancer?
It's not a common
talked
cancer.
about much?
Exactly. And actually, it had been decreasing for a while, but really in the last 3 or 4 decades, we've seen a significant increase. And this is correlated with the increase in obesity and reflux.
Real quick question before I let you out of here. We've asked many of the people who have leadership positions in corporate America and higher education, other places, about leadership. And I'm going to ask you this. As the chairman of surgery at Hackensack University Medical Center, the #1 leadership lesson they learned, put you on the spot, most important leadership lesson you've learned over the years is?
I think it's having a vision, having a direction. I think people are looking for a plan, and I think it's very important to lay that out. I think that's been very helpful in my career.
And then clearly executing it. I want to thank you, Doctor, for joining us. Dr. Martin Karpeh, who is the chairman of surgery at Hackensack University Medical Center. I want to thank you for joining us and sharing this very important information.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Stay with us. One-on-one will continue right after this.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Teen driving, everyone talks about it, but who's actually doing something to protect our teens? It is my honor and my pleasure to introduce 2 very special guests. Ronni Clerico-Knittel, Student Assistance Coordinator at Manalapan High School, and Viviana Martinez, Manalapan High School senior and a participant in a program called Save a Brave. What is Save a Brave?
Well, Save a Brave is an organization for seniors in Manalapan. It really helps spread awareness about the importance of safe driving and the risks of distracted driving, impaired driving, and just really helps send a good message throughout the school about, teen driving in general.
Let's talk about this a little bit. The whole idea for this program comes through our partners and friends at New Jersey Manufacturers. I'm curious about this. There's also a connection with a program that is called You Got Brains. Is that what it is?
Yes.
You Got Brains is done in connection with the Brain Injury Association?
Alliance of New Jersey.
What is that, and how is that connected to Manalapan High School?
They contacted us a few years ago and
The Brain Injury Alliance?
Yes, the Brain Injury Alliance, and told us about this program that they have that they encourage teen groups to enter and showcase what they're doing in the fight against drunk and distracted driving and just poor driving habits.
Right.
Our school joined in about 3 years ago, and every year we enter their contest. Last year we were fortunate enough to win.
With this video?
With all of our activities through the year and our music video, which really clinched it.
And so the whole idea here is to deal with the fact that teen drivers, I mean, sometimes, listen, we all make mistakes sometimes out on the roads, not all of us, but a lot of us. But teen drivers, let's be candid about it, sometimes there are too many teens in a car. Sometimes they are distracted because they're texting or they're doing God knows what else, right?
Yes, definitely.
On the phone. Sometimes there's drinking involved. So there's a video that you were not involved in, but you were inspired by, right?
Yes.
That we're about to see connected to the Save a Brave program, right?
Yes.
This is the video that won?
Yes.
This one. Let's take a look at the video, music video that inspired you and had an impact on a lot of other kids.
Don't text or drink squat. Don't want that mugshot. Trust us, you'll get caught. Hey, yeah, hey. Okay, now you were close towards your destination, but you were drinking. You put yourself in danger. Words from your mouth were slurred. Your vision was blurred. An accident occurred, and that's why you were such a bad boy. 'Cause you were speeding. Now someone's bleeding. Then you'll be pleading with your parents. So much frustration, a bad situation. Now you don't want to take the school bus.
You know, as we look at that video, it's so interesting, obviously playing off a very popular song. What's the difference between having adults come in, give a lecture about teen driving, and having teens produce that video for teens? What's the difference?
When you were a teenager, would you rather have heard a message from the cool people in your school?
Clearly.
Or
the younger,
an adult?
clearly a peer. So is that the idea of peer-to-peer?
Yes. Peer-to-peer has been proven the most effective way to get the message across to teenagers.
And when you saw this, what grade were you in at the time?
Well, I was a junior last year when they produced the video, but it was great because like the kids that made them, they were my friends. You know, they were only a year older, and it was just great seeing them be a part of something that was just so good. It had such a good message, and it was fun too at the same time, and it was just really inspiring.
Inspired you to do what though?
To just try to join Save a Brave, because Save a Brave requires an application to get in. So I definitely knew I wanted to apply, and you know, it just sent the message throughout the whole school. You know, the video went viral, like on Twitter, like it went on YouTube, Instagram. Everyone was talking about it, and it was just a great thing that they did.
And we should also make it clear that Save a Brave, the term brave, is that the Manalapan?
Yes, that's our mascot. We're the Manalapan Braves.
Okay. What has been the reaction from the other kids to this program?
It is the club to be in.
It is.
It's very prestigious. You have to apply, like Viviana said. I take all of the applications. This year I had 75 applications for 20 spots. And you know, I look at how involved is this child in school? What are their grades like? What is their attendance like? And behavior. You know, I really want the best of the best in this group. And we narrowed it down to 20, and they are the best kids. They're fun, they're involved, they're enthusiastic and sincere. They really do believe in this cause. They believe in safe driving, and just they lead by example, not only because of their music videos and the programs they do.
But also, Viviana, you have actually been in some of these situations that we saw in the car, right? Describe that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're high school kids, obviously, so, you know, we go to football games, we go out to eat, we have a lot of friends in the car. Most of the time, we're not allowed to have more than one person in the car because of the graduated driver's license law.
It's the law.
Yes, it's the law. So if you're under 17 years old and you have your license, you can't have more than one person in the car. But, you know, unfortunately, not a lot of people follow that. So it's dangerous when there's a car full of kids and they're loud and they're having fun, there's music on. It's just one of the most common situations that I find myself in.
What do you do in that situation?
Well, it's hard in that situation because usually you're with your friends and it's uncomfortable to say, like,
peer pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you say?
the most important thing to say is just to make sure that you're comfortable with what's going on, and obviously, you're not going to be if the driver's distracted. So usually what I say is, guys, just like be careful. I'm going to call my mom. She's going to come pick me up. Like, it's fine. Like, I'll meet you there. That's usually the better thing to say. No.
You will not get in the car.
No.
That sends a powerful message in the time we have left. What message does that send to everyone watching, every teen, every parent, particularly young people? What message does it send?
It empowers other teens to know that this is your life and it's your responsibility to be safe for yourself and for your friends.
Final question. What would you want to say to every teen watching, not only on public broadcasting and Fios, but also when they see it digitally? Because apparently I've heard that teens like watching, sometimes not on television, but on some device.
Definitely.
What's the message to them?
I would say, you're not invincible. You're a 17-year-old kid. Don't be overconfident. There's so much that we have to learn, especially with driving and even apart from driving anything else. But the most important thing is just to be careful and, not have that sense of being invincible, because when something bad happens and you realize that you're not and something bad can happen to you, the consequences could be terrible.
You are a role model. Keep doing what you're doing, Viviana. And Ronni, thank you for leading this effort. We appreciate it. Good work. Stay with us. We're right back right after this. That's great stuff.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Coming up, my colleague Joanna Gagis talks with an inspiring cancer survivor who has made it his mission to help others looking for hope.
I'm joined right now by an amazingly inspirational man named David Caldarella, who's the founder and executive director of David's Dream and Believe Cancer Foundation. And I don't know if I'd say more importantly, but equally important, you are a cancer survivor.
I am. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Tell us your story and how this foundation began.
So in March of 2010, I was out with a friend having some dinner, and by the time I got home, I had some trouble swallowing. Within 36 hours, I noticed a lump on the right side of my neck that quickly. And within 3 weeks, I was diagnosed with stage 4 head and neck cancer.
Came out of the blue. No sign of it earlier, and it literally just grew that quickly.
That quickly. I literally ran a 10K 2 weeks before that, my best time yet, and a month later, heard the bad news from the doctors.
What was that process like for you in battling the cancer?
It was I think it happened so rapidly that I didn't have time to kind of mull it over and think about it, because once I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, I had a PET scan to make sure it hadn't spread to the rest of my body. Then I was in another surgeon's office the next day, thinking about a treatment plan. So it happened so quickly, and then a week after that, I had another surgery. I just didn't have time, so it was immediate right into the treatment.
David, you say you didn't have time, but yet in the middle of all of this, you decide to start a foundation that gives back to others.
Right.
Explain how, in the middle of battling your own crisis, you have the wherewithal to give back to others, to think about others.
So I think going through it, my family and friends were unbelievable, so supportive. I couldn't ask for more. The thing that struck me were strangers coming to my aid, sending cards, talking to my parents, how's David doing? Does he need anything? Do you need anything? And I think that's what struck me. And
was that you felt that you had a support network around you?
Correct. And I felt like others going through this, some of them don't have that. And it'd be nice to create something for patients directly that would help them when they're diagnosed with cancer as well.
Help them in what way? What did you hope, and what does your foundation now work to do for others who are battling cancer in the same way?
So we created the foundation to help patients with initially medical bills, co-pays, hospital bills, doctor bills.
How devastating can the financial impact of cancer be?
Huge. And my own story is part of that, a perfect example. When I was going through all the treatments and the physical part of it, I had lost 65 pounds, and things were just so bad. The emotional is just as bad. 3 months after I received my cancer-free verdict from the doctors, I was sitting in an attorney's office filing for bankruptcy.
Wow.
So financially, it can be devastating. And I recognize that, and there's a lot of foundations that give to research, and I'm an example of that as well. I wouldn't be here. One of the surgeries, I was only the 10th patient for my doctor to have a specific surgery. So I know there's a great need for that. But the patients need help too. And it's not just medical. We provide financial assistance for rent, mortgage, because sometimes the husband or the wife is taking off for the spouse to help them take them to treatment, sit with them at treatment, so their work falls behind. Utility bills, transportation to and from.
Rent, mortgage payments.
Mortgage payments.
How do you raise the money?
We raise the money with events, and the community in South Jersey, Long Beach Island, Manahawkin have just embraced the foundation, local businesses, and really without them, we set out initially to help 1 or 2 patients. And within 4 years, we've helped 325 families.
In fact, I see in the first year you impacted 11 families. The second year, 50+ families. You're now in your third year, and it's 200+ families. And that is what earned you the recognition of the 2014 New Jersey State Governor's Jefferson Award. That's an award that's sponsored by PNC Bank. What did that award mean to you and to your organization?
I think more than anything, it was a recognition of the foundation and all the people that support the foundation. I remember sitting in the audience and listening to all these great stories and people that give back to the community and pay it forward every day. And I remember looking at my girlfriend and my mom and thinking, are we in the right place? Should I be here? But it was a recognition of everybody's work, hard work, and dedication to the foundation. So it meant a lot to me because it was, recognizing them for all their support for the past few years.
And when you talk about them, one of the contributors, I'd say, to your organization is a younger generation. Generation Dream?
Yes. So last year, we have a board who serves 100% on a volunteer basis, the board of directors. Phenomenal people. One of them had the wonderful idea to create a youth group, kids from 6 years old to 18, and teach them about paying it forward and helping local families in our area who are battling cancer. And Generation Dream was created with, I think, a group of 22 kids. And right now, I think we're up to about 86 kids. And they manage their own events, create their own events. And last year, in half a year, because they started in June, they raised, I think, approximately $7,700. For families battling cancer.
You're not only making a difference for those families who are battling cancer, but you're making a difference for the families who you're bringing together. And you're teaching these children a life lesson that they're not going to learn anywhere else. So for that's got to mean a lot to you.
It means the world. It's nice to see when local businesses and families gather around the foundation because they know it's their neighbor or their aunt or somebody like that. But to see these kids who could be on a video game or doing any number of things, and they take time out once a month to meet with us and to attend events, create their own events. It's pretty special to see, write cards for patients, important stuff that, going through it, as I know, receiving those cards was just tremendous.
David, two important questions here for our viewing audience. First, how can people volunteer? And second, how can people get assistance if they need it?
We have an event interest form on our website, and it has volunteer opportunities for all our events. But there's also volunteer opportunities for daily stuff. Sometimes it may be going to pick up a prescription for somebody who can't get out of the house, a senior citizen or something. So literally I'll go to the local pharmacy, pay for the prescription for them, and could be drive it to them, to their house. and it's just a nice way to give back and others to kind of take part.
And people can go to your website?
People can go to the website www.davidsdreamandbelieve.org and get all the information. My contact information is on there. Our grant application can be forwarded to anybody who needs assistance in their time of need.
David Caldarella, founder and executive director, David's Dream and Believe Cancer Foundation. I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, but more importantly, for the great work that you're doing for citizens around this state who are in need and who you're touching. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by NJM, NJIT, PNC Bank, activists in cooperation with the American Medicine Chess Challenge, Steve and Elaine Pozicki, Qualcare Inc., and by the Russell Berry Foundation. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by NJ Biz, All Business, All New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Play ball! Imagine you're enjoying your child's baseball game. As hard as it is to believe, one of the 9 children on the field may be abusing prescription drugs and getting them right out of your family's medicine chest. Join the American Medicine Chest Challenge by taking inventory and securing your medicine, safely disposing of your unwanted and expired medicine, and finally, talk to your kids. Visit AmericanMedicineChest.com to find out how.